Good morning, friends, and welcome to another amazing episode of Get In, Get Fit series. I'm sure you're all excited because of the speaker today, right? So, our series today is the 48th series of the Get In, Get Fit. As all of you know, this was started during the pandemic, and our entire focus was how do we be strong internally and physically fit also. So with that motto, we started a unison of heart, body, mind, and soul. And that is how we said, get in and get fit. And today we have almost crossed a year, and we celebrated our Golden Jubilee celebrations exactly a month before on July 10th. And it was a gala, mega gala event. And we have really had a blast. Now you must be asking, 1 year has gone, so it's 52 weeks. And how is this 48, right? Because we also have a series called Pamper Yourself series. So as much as we need to be physically fit and mentally strong, we also need to take care of our, external appearance also. So we started a series on Pamper Yourself, especially because we understood that the comorbidities of diabetes and things like that needed you to take care of your feet, your hands, your hair, everything. So we started having expert speakers on that too, on Pamper Yourself. So with those few words, I would like to start today's session. And our expert speaker today is Dr. Asha Rajni. What do I speak of Asha ma'am? I mean, I have been interacting with her now for almost 6 weeks, even before our 50th in Golden Jubilee celebrations. And immediately she said, Vidya, I'll be a part of it. And then we kept talking and we kept connecting. And, I would always say it's a very small world. So ma'am is actually a veterinary doctor, and right now I give motivational talks to the veterinary college, that is the Tanuvas, right? So I am in the IDP of Tanuvas, where I give an expert talk weekly twice. And I was just thinking, she has been an ex-professor there, and for me right now to get in. But what is a connection, right? The connection is because she was instrumental in saying that all the students needed some kind of a motivation, especially, as they go through or tide through their college journey. So it is very, very important that we all need to understand the importance of mental health. So with those few words, and I want to also talk about, the kind of enthusiasm she has. I was just talking to Kanan sir and Rukmani ma yesterday evening. She said, Vidya, why not have a rehearsal? See, that is the kind of people we are interacting with. It is not a laid back kind of a mental attitude. They are so proactive. They want to give their best shot. Technology is something which is very new to all of us. We are all offline people. We are all people who love to meet each other. As I say, man is a social animal, right? But today, because of this online Zoom platform, we are able to connect with each other wherever we are. And all of us are new to technology. So you look at her enthusiasm as she wanted to give her best today. So really, thunderous applause to ma'am. And I'm going to read out her CV. It's so long, but I don't want to miss out the salient USP points, which I think all of you should know, right? So presenting Dr. Asha Rajni. Her CV is long, as I told you, but more is her glory. She started running at the age of 61. And after that, you know what she did? She was always a podium finisher. Whatever run she took, whether it is the 21 kilometers, half marathons, which she has many in number. She has full marathons. She has ultra marathons. She has run over the hills. And incidentally, she was, in Ooty, and, she used to run because her father was such a disciplinarian. And I want you to hear her story from her own mouth, right? And I want you to understand the kind of physical and medical challenges she faced. Many a times people ask us, oh, you're a doctor, you didn't take care of your health. But then, there are certain things which is genetic, and sometimes we need to fight ourselves to get out of it. So I want you to hear her speak about how she combated her upper respiratory tract infection or asthma, as you would know, and how she took up sports, how she was made tough because of her disciplined life. And then as she grew, how she had combated diabetes, and then after diabetes, breast cancer, hypothyroidism, and whatnot. I mean, you know, I don't want to rob her of her integral grit. And I also want to tell you all the kind of, you know, the medals which is hanging in her hall. She sent a picture and my eyes just popped out. You know, she had hundreds of them. Even if we count, I mean, it'll be our fingers, or even our mathematics will just not be enough. So that is the kind of person and the sports person she has been. She's represented India also in a number of master athlete events. Her forte is mostly the 400s, 800s, and the 1500s. And she's represented India at the latest Malaysia 2019 Master Athletes Meet. And they would have gone on and on, but I guess the pandemic created the break there. And I'm super excited because not only she's been a great achiever in sports, she has also been a great achiever as an academician. Now, to read her academic, you know, qualification and the kind of a person she's been, she has been a university gold medalist. Rather, all the subjects she's got the medal. She's also the first woman to work with the race horses at the Madras Race Club. She worked with Arvin, the Jersey, and the Stud Bulls. She's a research associate and has retired as a professor of poultry science. She's an author of 2 books. She is also an awardee on poultry economics. She's got the Best Teacher Award. And she's been a phenomenal inspiration for many. And as I told you, I can go on and on because, you know, this is something which has amazed me totally. And I would, with warm regards, I would like to welcome Dr. Asha Rajni to this Get In, Get Fit Series 48. Welcome, ma'am, and over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Vidya. That was very nice of you. It's like as I'm up in the air, now I have to pull myself down, you know. Yes, it's so nice to be able to talk again because after a long time, I think during this lockdown and so you don't get to a chance to even meet anybody and talk. Although I do keep running all the time in spite of all the lockdown. And it's been nice meeting you, talking to you, getting to know you and getting to know lots of people. So many of y'all I know, Rukmani, Kanan sir, Usha, all of you. I'm so happy that all of y'all are here. And yeah, what I'm going to say is just my story of how life was and how it is now. It's been a very, I won't say it's a very difficult life. I could say it's more maybe challenging life that I've had. You know, from my time I was born, I was a very weak child, and my parents had to leave me in Sri Lanka. I was born in Sri Lanka, so they left me with my grandmother and grandfather. And I heard my grandmother used to say every week I'll be. My grandfather used to take me out and ask her to weigh me and see whether I put on weight. And when I would have put on just about 100 grams or so, and he used to shout at my grandmother saying that, what are you doing? Are you feeding her properly? And things like that. But it so happened that we lost our grandfather in the first uprising of this Tamil air company. And we had to get back to India. And only after 5 years, I actually met my parents. And then I'm always known as Asha. I'm sorry. My grandmother was known as Asha Pati because I was the closest to her. So when I met my father, it was a big shock for me because he had been in the RAF and all along his life had been like being a very strict person. And here for 5 years, I had everything in my life, having all the fun in life, doing whatever I could. And then to see that I had to come and I used to shiver. Every time I used to see him, I used to literally shiver because he always thought he was still in the army. And every day when we go, like when we go to school, we have to polish our shoes, iron our uniform, and we have to hang it in such a particular manner, keep the shoes in a particular manner. And he'll come at night checking whether we've done it properly. And we haven't done it, we've had it that day, So this is how we had to live our life. And I was a person who had developed whooping cough, which was something which was terrible during those times. And my mom almost gave up on me. And when I did come out of it, I was a real weak person. And but my father would never accept that because he couldn't believe that someone like me, his daughter, could be a weak person, So what he used to do, he used to make me do all sorts of things which I just couldn't. I used to try. He put a ring on the top, and he'd just take me and make me hold that ring, and he'd leave me and go away. I can neither jump down nor can I do anything. I have to just keep hanging on that ring like that. And it was very difficult. I can't scream because I'm scared he'll beat me up. So I used to hold on to that ring and hang on there. Finally, I learned how to start doing all sorts of exercises on that ring. So if you see, even now, my tummy, it'll be hard because for so many years I've been doing that. And finally, it became such it was fun thing. It became a fun thing for me. So I myself used to jump on it and keep doing all those exercises. And early morning, we were in Kunnur at that time. In Kunnur, you know how cold it is. By 6 o'clock, we'll be made to run over the mountains. And my sister was very clever. She'll run and she'll sit down on top of the mountain because he cannot see us whether we are running or not. But I was so scared of him that I'll keep running, and I'll come back. So sometimes when I did the Ooty Ultra, I realized, I think it was those days of running when I was young, which helped me to do the Ooty Ultra so easily. It was, people were just shocked the way I was running downhill, because downhill is what they say is a little difficult. But it was so easy for me because I've been doing this so many times up and down the hills that when I went downhill, I was just zipping through down, when everybody else was getting scared to run downhill because you can go in for a lot of injury. So this was my earlier part of life. And then when I started studying, of course, I was highly asthmatic. I used to go in for status asthma also. And I always feel one thing, nothing comes without defeat or with something which you feel is going wrong. When nothing is happening in your life, every time there is always something which is pulling you down, that gives you that strength to somehow pull yourself up and come, So this asthma was a big headache for me because almost every once or twice a month I used to go in for it. And they literally used to have to carry me and run to the hospital. That was how I was. So a known weakling, everybody looking at me will know, because I used to be so thin. If you wear a skirt, the skirt will just come off down. That thin I was, And, but then again, my father stepped in, he said, get into sports. I said, get into sports? I said, how to get into sports like this? But he pushed me and I told myself, okay, I'll do it. And I was good in sports. Finally, I was running and I was in most of the running and jumping events. I was in sports, although I wasn't the best, but in the relay team, I was one of them. So which means among the whole lot, at least one among the four was me. So I was a good runner. So they used to take me and early morning, we used to go for practice and so on. And later, I became such a tomboy. I became such a tomboy because of all what my dad had done, that all the time I used to play only with the boys and no one, and nothing else. And he used to get angry by then, but then I'd grown up. I'd come to my 11th standard and so on, which was high school for us. And he used to say, don't keep playing with boys. But I got so used to it because cricket, gilli dandal, all marbles, top, kite flying. I knew only those games. I didn't know any of these girlish games at all. So even in school, when I finish my, while I'm doing my exams, December, I'll remember that's the kite flying season, you know. So as I'm writing, I'll remember, Ayo, they'll all be flying kites there and I'm sitting here. I'll just hand over my paper and run to go and put that manja and fly kites there with these boys. So that is how my life was. And I was not one of those very studious persons because I was not really very interested in education at all. But then it so happened that I did well in school. And when I went for my pre-university, in fact, I thought I'll fail. I told my parents, don't even look in the, because that time only the papers we used to get the results. So I said, don't even look at the papers. I'm not going to pass at all. You just, so they actually applied in the railways, in the postal and everywhere for me, you know, saying that let her put her somewhere to work. And when I went there and one of my aunts said, Asha, congratulations. I said, congratulations, I said. And they said, you got a first class. I said, no, it must be some other number. I said, you know, and I went away. And then someone said, no, go and ask your grandfather. He said, it is there. This is my dad's side. So I went running to my grandfather. I said, don't. And he was sitting, you know, in these old houses, you have that thinner where, you know, he was sitting and calling and telling everyone, Peti, first class, Mangita, first class. I said, you keep quiet. It cannot be my number. You must have seen a wrong number. And ultimately, I realized I actually got a first class. And that pushed me. People started pushing because it was a very high first class. And they had said, you must get into medicine. And I did not want to do medicine because medicine was too much of studying. And I was not the person who wanted to do too much study. So veterinary was asking for a second class. So I said, veterinary will be nice. Lots of animals. We can have some good fun, you know, taking care of them. And second class, they are asking. So they won't be wanting me to study much. So I applied for veterinary and I got it. And my God, what a mistake that was, because it was much more of studying than medicine actually. So many anatomies, so many physiologies, have to remember everything. And it so happened I got an ICR merit scholarship also, which means every year you have to get a first class. Only then you'll keep getting that scholarship. So I started studying. And, you know, I was getting first class after first class after first class in every year, because then first class was very difficult. Because 60 and above was first class, and we could, even how much ever you write, we'll get about 68 or 69% only. We cannot cross that 70. Sometimes you manage to cross 70. That was how it was. So, and that is how finally I came university first and got all those medals and things like that. So naturally, we know the university wanted people with a high record. And I got into the university as a research associate. But then started the problem for me, because still then I was okay. I was, you know, I was quite energetic. Like in Ooty, when I went and worked in the stud farm, it was very difficult because there it was working with bulls, you know. And I remember, if I tell you those stories, it will go on and on and on, because it was very difficult to work with the things. And I was there. So many people used to come because those days, the number of girls in veterinary was just 1 or 2 in a class, not many. So when they used to see me in that stud farm working with the bulls, each bull weighing about 1 ton and 1.2 tons, they were all shocked. But I was enjoying it because it was, again, you know, a challenge. For me, I had developed this attitude, which my dad had put into me, you know, that to take up the challenge, whatever the challenge, take it and work towards it, you know. And that has helped me even now. So although at that time I was very angry with my father, now I'm really thankful that he had made me, you know, into what I am today. So after that, when I came back, I realized that I got into veterinary, and it was only teaching and research and things. There wasn't much of physical work like the way it was earlier. So I slowly got into more steady kind of work atmosphere. And that was when all the other things came in. I was diagnosed with hypothyroid, and I started going dull, you know, and most of the time I'll be, you know, like this, sitting like that. And then came the diabetes, which was very, very bad, because my mom died of diabetes. And it was very, very high diabetes. It was like I had to be on lots of drugs for that. And slowly, you know, all my thoughts were only on surviving, you know, how to keep living and, you know, carrying on my life like that. And I became a very, very dull person. That's what I feel I was. I was a very dull person. And although I loved teaching, I used to just enjoy teaching. And I used to remember each and every student's name when I used to teach. That was something which I loved. But by the time I came out of college, I don't know, because again, as Dr. Vidya said, I was struck with cancer of the breast. So one after the other, you know, having something happening with regards to my physical body, you know, completely pulled me down. I was not able to come out of it. Although during the cancer episode, I remember my husband used to sit before me and he used to cry because everybody was saying maximum 5 years, beyond that she won't live. So he said, "Nee enna panna, you know, all these usual things, you know," and I used to feel very sad looking at him. But one thing which was very, very peculiar was, I had a lot of strength in my God. I had a belief that is so strong that I knew that even if I'm going to die, it does not matter, because it's going to be something which will be something good. So that fear of death or fear of suffering was never in my mind. It was never in my mind. So I was able to, within 2 months of all my operations and my treatments, I was back to college. And my professor was shocked. He said, "Asha, you know, I said, "No, I can't sit at home." I said, "I have to come." And this was on the second floor. My department was on the second floor and no lift. So I used to walk and go. And he said, "I'll try and get you a room down." I said, "No, I want it up." I said, "I'll come up." The worst difficult thing was when people come with one sad face, you know. Everybody who comes will come with one sad face. They'll come and say, "Eppadi irukkinga Asha ma'am," you know, and all that. And I look at them, you know, and I say, "Oh my God, they're talking like us. I'm going to die tomorrow," you know. And I couldn't take it. I just told them, I said, "See, I am like a bomb. Anytime it will burst, that doesn't matter. As long as it doesn't burst, I'm going to live my life," I said, you know. And that is what I did. And it really helped me a lot, because this thought of just living each day, because I always remember this quote of Jesus, you know, he says, "You think of only today. Don't think of yesterday and don't think of tomorrow." You know, today's life has enough of its problems. So why do you want to think of tomorrow? You don't even know whether today you're going to survive. And another one more thought which was always on my mind was, there are so many people going on the road. How do we know we're going to get back home? So I'm in the same state as them. So why do I have to worry about this? So that kept me going, you know, all the time it kept me going. And I felt so good about it. And it didn't matter much. And after that, of course, I had many other health issues. I also had a problem with regards to my gallbladder, and it became septic. And actually, I died in the theater, and they had to revive me again and pull me out. So when I came back to college, they asked me, they said, "Asha madam, what happened?" I said, "I went and said hi to God." He said, "Your time is not there, get back." So I had to get back, I said, you know. So they all used to laugh. They said, "My God, how you make things so easy, you know? Anyone else, all of us died, and coming back is something so impossible. And yeah, you're coolly saying this." I said, "Yes, because it's not my time yet. So God has sent me back," I said, you know. And that was just 6 months before my retirement. And then when I retired, the day I retired, I saw a double rainbow. And I said, there is going to be something beyond this for me. Although I did not know what it was. I had Dr. Anand and Vijay. They've been good friends of mine much before itself. And they've been calling me to run. but I didn't have time. See, this is what I've been telling everybody, which is a wrong thing, which all of us are doing, When we work, we think we do not have time. We do not have, actually, there is lots of time. You won't believe that 1 hour that you give yourself every day is just 4%. It's just 4% of the whole day that you're giving to yourself. Isn't it possible for you to do that? If only I had someone who I could listen to like this, I think I would have long time back started running. I didn't, and it's so good to know that at least I started at the age of 61. So before that, you might ask why then that 1 year gap. I had another accident. One motorbike came and hit me. I think I'm thrown for all this, so my hand got hit and I was in a cast. So I told Dr. Anand, I'll come and join after this taken out. And then I joined, and I did not know anything about marathon running at all. So when I first went, and within the first week, they said what is known as this LSD. LSD, I don't even know what is LSD. Then later only I found out it was long. I'm still not able to remember that. Long distance.
Slow distance.
Long,
yes, slow distance.
Long, yes. Slow distance.
Slow distance, yes. So that was the one. So that when we did the first Sunday, they did a 10K. So I ran along with them and I finished around about 9 kilometers the very first week. So everybody kept asking me, Asha madam, you ran? I said, yeah, I ran. I didn't even know it was something which was very difficult to do. I think this was my earlier childhood days of running, which has come back. And since then, I've been running so many again and again. And then came the first marathon. And I did not even know how to do the official marathon. And all the others who I knew were given elite runners. They were known as elite runners. So they all were right in front of me, ahead of me. And me, because I'm an unknown personality, they pushed me right behind. So there was a huge crowd before me and me all alone, not even knowing what to do. So only thing they told me was there's a mat in front, stamp that mat and go. Be careful that you do that. So then I was looking down, and I was running to see where that mat was so that I stamped it and I ran. So I stamped and I ran. And I was taking it very easy, because I don't know what is it towards the end. Didn't know anything about this podium finish. Didn't know there'll be prize distributed. Didn't know anything. Just ran and I came back. So when I came back, Dr. Anand was at the finish line. He said, run fast. So I just ran fast and I finished the race. And they said, Asha, I think you're getting a podium finish. I was thinking, what is this? And I was just looking when they called out my name and I had come second in my 10K. That was the first time I had got something like this after, retirement. And I felt so good, I felt something so important for me. Just a minute. And I did not know what it was all about, but you won't believe, although it was a small thing which happened in my life and maybe in many marathon people's life, it was the beginning of greater things to come. And that thing of coming second and, was something which was unimaginable for me. And I said, my God, at this age, getting something like this is fantastic. I said, start running. I said, and I just started running and running and running. I have to look at the time. Yeah. And yes. And I went in for many more 10Ks. And then came the 21K. Now, this 21K, I had forgotten I was diabetic. And I just went, I said, yeah, if I can do a 10K, I'll do a 21K. I didn't know how difficult that was. And I just went for the 21K and without taking all the required sugar requirements, nothing. I just ran the 21K. By the time I finished the 21K, my hands and legs were all shivering because my sugar level had dropped drastically. And thank God they had a lot of this Yalnir, you know, so they gave me that and other things. Then I knew, okay, this is not just fun. You also have to take care of yourself when you're diabetic. So from then I had to for myself find out when my sugar levels are dropping and when I had to take the gel, or I had this hypo tablet. So that took some time for me to understand, because it was not an easy thing for me, you know. It was like I never knew when my sugar levels were dropping. So now I've established it. It is round about the 7th to the 8th kilometer. I know, because I start feeling very tired. Till then, I'm able to run very well. Then I start feeling very tired. So I said, okay, from now on, I have to start taking this. So I've started knowing when to do this. And since then, doing the 21K became easy. And that's when we had a trail run. And I don't know how to run a trail run. Nobody told me also. So I was running fast with everybody, like the way everyone was doing. And my leg twisted. And I heard the song, and I knew it was a fracture. So I immediately just lifted my left foot and I stood there. I said, I know I fractured my foot. So they took me on a cycle back to the place, and when we checked out, there were 2 fractures. So I was put in a cast, and I was feeling very, very sad, because I thought, now I'm so old also, will these bones come and join together? Will I ever be able to run again? I did not know what is going to happen, but you won't believe it. I'd already booked tickets for a South Asian tour to go to Thailand, to go around Thailand, go to Malaysia, go around Malaysia, Singapore, all done. And I was the leader of the group. So matter of 1 month, I had to leave. And all of them had paid for the tickets, everything, hotels, bookings, everything. I said, what am I going to do now, you know? And then I went to my doctor. I said, is there some bandage which you can give me, which can be much more, sturdy, because I need to go. She said, what are you talking? I said, I need to go. I said, I cannot let those people down, you know. They've paid so much of money. I cannot let them down. I said, they cannot go because I've done everything. So then he gave me a different cast. He said, take a walking stick with you as far as possible, get a wheelchair and go and think. I said, yeah, I'll do all that, I said. And I went. So initially from the airport to the wheelchair in Thailand, that wheelchair guy got me lost. I immediately got out of the wheelchair. I said, I'm not going to take any wheelchair anymore. I said, I have to find the others, I said. So I started using my walking stick and I was walking. And we completed the tour. We had a lot of fun. Of course, there were times when I found it a little difficult and I had to sit down when they were all having no fun, you know. And I was very angry about myself that I went and broke my leg like this at this time. And we had a good time and we came back. So I realized when people say it's not possible, of course, you have to be careful also. I'm not saying all of you do this, but don't ever take that immediately. It's not like that. It depends on your body also, you know, how you're able to think. And let me tell you, the mind is the one which plays a lot of games. It's that mind which keeps telling you, it's not possible. You cannot do it. It's not possible. This is how the mind will keep on telling you. The most important thing is to get over that. To get over that mind, you know, and tell yourself, yes, it is possible. It is not that it is impossible. If so-and-so and so-and-so, so-and-so can do it, I can also do it. And many times now I've heard so many people saying, Asha, do you need this at this age? Why do you have to do all this? Why do you have to run like this? Why can't you just sit at home? Look at all of us, we are enjoying. I said, no, it's not that. It's the fun of it. I enjoy it. I really enjoy running. And it's something which nobody can take it away, because I used to tell my friends, I said, I would rather like to die while I'm running, and that would be the best thing that can happen to me, I said, rather than to sit at home and watch others running. So this mind, you have to have the strength to overcome you will be having difficulties. See, when I've been telling you all this is not because I want you all to feel sorry for me. I'm telling you all this because each one of us can overcome step by step everything that keeps coming into your life. Because life is not going to be always beautiful. It is full of ups and downs. And you have to learn when you're down how to move yourself up. And the only way to move yourself up is in your mind. The strength of your mind matters a lot. I mean, for all of those who have run and any kind of activity, any kind of sports activity, if you realize the minute you say you cannot do it, you will not be able to do it. You will not be able to do it. But the minute you say, why not? Why can't I? You will be able to do it. So that is the most important thing that we have to remember always. So with that, when I came back, I started running. When everybody said, Asha, what are that? Don't run, don't run. Without the knowledge, I used to keep running by myself, slowly, steadily. And I came back. And the first marathon which I attempted was the Chennai Marathon. I think it was 2017, I think. And you won't believe it. I did it in a timing of 2 hours and 17 minutes. And unfortunately, there was no super veteran category in that, but they did mention it, that super veteran, that I came first. And I just missed in the veteran category by about a few seconds or minutes, I don't remember. And it was such a great time that I had, because at 21K, I didn't even know I was running. And while I was running, you won't believe the number of people who came to me while I was running. And they kept saying, what's your age? What is your age? What is your age? And I felt great. I said, oh, I'm running well. That's why they're coming and asking me for my age, And I remember one young boy came to me and said, Grandma, I want to take a photo. I said, Grandma, I said, And he took a photo with me. I said, come, let's have a pic with you, So it was such great fun knowing that you could do it, that after that broken leg at an age of 62, and you could overcome that, was one thing which I always will remember, particularly that marathon, that Chennai Marathon. I'll never forget that Chennai Marathon which I ran. And after that, there was no looking back at all. It's been just going one after the other. And finally, I went and wanted to do a full marathon. I wanted to do it so much. My diabetes doctor said no. He said, no, Asha, don't do it. He said, because it's going to be very difficult for you, don't do it. I said, I can't do it, doctor. He said, how are you going to manage for 42 kilometers? I said, I've planned it very well, I said. I planned it very well. I know at what thing I'll keep taking my glucogel, and I will finish it. I'll finish it well. So then he looked and he started laughing. He said, okay, I cannot stop you. You go, but anytime you feel it's very bad, just stop. Do not run. I said, okay. So I felt very happy and I went. You won't believe, just 1 week before, I broke my small toe. 1 week before the full marathon. This was in Bangalore. Again, everybody said, forget it. He said, what they said was, it is not as you think, it's something which is so difficult to run, and with a broken toe and with your age, it is impossible. You know, when everybody says impossible, that is when, you know, something rushes into me. And I said, no, I must somehow do it. But I was wondering what to do. And that was when I was sitting quietly, Dr. Parker, he's an ortho, he came and he asked me, he said, what happened? I'm not seeing you running. I said, like this, I broke my small toe. Now these people are telling me not to run. He said, you just run 5 kilometers and see. If you're able to run, then I'll tell you what to do. So immediately I went and ran and I was fine. I said, I'm fine. He said, okay, then what you do is just strap that toe to the other toe and just go and run. I said, thank you. And I went. And I, till about the 39th kilometer, I was doing really well. You won't believe it. I was feeling so great. Somewhere in the 39th kilometer, I started thinking that my bone was breaking and coming out. That's why I said the mind, you know, is something which is very bad. Immediately I stopped running and I started walking. And after some time, I pulled myself out and again started running towards the last 1 kilometer. I started running and in the process, of course, I came first. For my age group, I came first. And but I finished it in a time which I wanted a better timing. I did it in 5 hours and 18 minutes. Of course, this was my first marathon. I would have loved to have a better timing in that. And I know it was my mistake that I slowed down like that. So that was my full marathon experience. And then we had the hill run, Ooty. No, I didn't do Kodaikanal. I did Koli Hills, and one more. Forget the name of the place.
Yerkad.
Yerkad, yes. I enjoyed these runs. This was the best. I've been waiting to do more and more of hill runs, but this COVID has stopped everywhere. And my dream is to do the Malnad and the Vagabond. I've been dreaming of it, but age is going on. I'm now 65 plus, and I'm just hoping that something will open up fast so that I can do it, you know, earlier. And my thoughts are only that, you know, that I want to somehow finish all these. And I also have been asking people whether we could run from here to Kanyakumari. And this is another one mile which is in my head. I really want to do that, you know, to run to Kanyakumari from here. My native place is Kanyakumari. And so I've been wanting to do this. I hope I'll be able to do that too. So these are all the dreams that I have. And I believe I will meet all those dreams, provided God, keeps me alive, because his timing is something which you don't know. But all this, I really thanks and praise God, because during that time when I broke my leg and I used to really pray, you know, and I got a promise, and he said, I am giving you a hind's leg. That is, hind is a deer's leg. So I always hold on to that promise, and I keep saying, I said, you've given me a deer's leg, so I'll keep running, you know, and that promise will not think, because it's always yes and amen as it's written, you know. So I stand on that promise every time. Every time when I start a marathon, I just pray and I tell God, God, you said you've given me a deer's feet. So based on that, I'm going to run, and I'm running, you know, and that's how I start. And it's been a great time. I've been enjoying myself. Even during lockdown, I didn't stop. In fact, I did a 21K inside my house. I was running up and down, and I did a 21K in the during the lockdown. In fact, I think I did more running during lockdown, because I just couldn't believe that you can stop yourself from that. So although everybody was scared and of course, running was done inside my house most of the time. And then everybody said, don't run inside the house. It is not good and all that. I said, I'll do. So I think I did about nearly 15 10Ks inside my house. And I did 121K inside my house. They said, how did you go round and round like this? I did. So this is what I said. What I would tell everybody, it is not, I might be telling you a lot about 5Ks and 10Ks and 21Ks and 42Ks. It's not that matters. What really matters is you. It's you. That it's not going and telling, I did this, I did that. No, it's how are you taking care of yourself, your health? And it's your health that matters much more than anything else. So to keep yourself going, you have to give time for yourself, so that you become 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000. And, just the thought that you are able to do this will start pulling you up higher and higher and higher, and will keep you going. And in the process, your health would become much better. Through my insulin, I was on insulin. I was on 30 units insulin and 20 units insulin, morning and evening. I'm not on insulin anymore. I'm not saying that my diabetes vanished like that, but I'm no longer on insulin. I used to hate poking myself. Almost nearly 4 to 5 years I was on insulin. So these are things which you can able to see clearly how your health has improved, how you're able to make do. I remember in gym when people used to carry all these weights, I'd say, how to do all this? But now I'm doing it. I'm able to do it. Of course, I hurt myself also by doing it yesterday, but that's okay. You'll come out of it. So people, please give yourself that 4%, of your time. Give yourself that 4% of your time so that you can overcome, and every dream of yours will come through, and you will become a very, very healthy person. I think I've said my part of it. Now it's yours to do what you have to do. Thank you for giving me this.
Awesome, Asha ma'am. In fact, I wanted to keep that for the finale, because yesterday in the gym, actually what happened was ma'am was doing some weightlifting, and she saw the tilt. She saw it was not on the right path, but before she could take a decision, she has hurt her hamstring. And she said, Ayo, Vidya, you know what? This happened. And then I said, ma'am. So what was so exciting yesterday was ma'am had gone to the gym, and she saw that the bar was oblique. And by the time she could take a decision, she had already hurt her hamstring. So she said, Vidya, I have hurt my hamstring. I'm not able to walk. I said, ma'am, you need rest. Take 1 week rest, put some hot and, cold compression, and you will be fine. You'll be fit to ready to run. But first start walking for a month, and then you start running, because sometimes hamstrings definitely take a little more time to heal. Being a doctor, I guess we know it. But what an inspirational story, right? I mean, I was floored listening to her. This is the second time I'm listening to the entire story. But what an amazing personality. What I liked is, never give up attitude, that kind of attitude which keeps you pushing through the things when they're tough. The going gets tough, the tough gets going. That's what we say. And, that has been ingrained into her. Many a times people think, oh, that person had an opportunity. We did not have. All of us have the same opportunity. The only thing is that person used the opportunity. We are just giving excuses and sitting down. So salute to your grit and your determination, ma'am. Especially I feel you are all real life heroes. Whenever an adversity comes back, are you looking it as an opportunity to move forward, or are you looking it as a stumbling block or an obstacle to sit back? Is a choice we all have. I guess there is no two ways about it. But winners are not quitters. Winners are people who push themselves beyond that bar of, that standard level. Because if you want to become an extraordinary person, you need to do that extra, right? It's just not going to happen to you. You'll have to make it happen. And I'm so enamored by all your grit and determination, to whatever has happened in your life. And I'm so glad that, there was, generally people say our life is like a train journey. Many people come, many people go and things like that. But I am glad in your train journey, I have been, I just walked in and met this so beautiful person whom now I can proudly say, like, you said, I wish I had done that long time before. Today, whoever is listening to you right now and who are going to listen to you hereafter, because we are making a recording of this session, and I'm sure you will be an inspiration not only to people at your age. Age is just a number. You're going to be an inspiration to millions and millions of athletes and all normal people who want to, look at life in a different angle. Never give up. You spoke about your out of life experience and getting back into your life and living your life every day, one day at a time, living it to the fullest. I mean, what all we have got nuggets. I know your, the chat box is getting filled up, but I want to read it out for you. I want you to understand how special you have been for all of us. And I want to thank 3 people right now who have been instrumental in actually getting you here. The first person is, of course, Kripakar sir. He was the one who first suggested your name. Again, your name was suggested by Usha ma'am and by Rukmani ma, both of them at the same time, and of course, Kannan sir too. So, you have been like on the top list for us, and all your friends have always wanted you here. I have a presentation by Asha ma'am, which I'm going to put, so don't leave. I've got some more to go with the session. But before that, I want to read out all these things for you, Asha ma'am. This is all for you. So Rukmani ma says, I've only heard from some people that they did visit God. But here is my friend Asha, who didn't find place now in heaven. And she has a lot of work making others live a life of enjoyment in this world. That is why he said no there. Usha ma'am says, super Asha, loved your encounter with God. I was lucky with a podium finish because you were not running that particular year. Kannan sir says, very interesting and inspiring to know about you, doctor. You're a living example of never give up person, even after going through so many health challenges. You have given positive inspiration to many who think they are physically down and depressed. And Rukmani ma says it's Asha time today, and Usha ma'am says everyone needs that kind of spark, Asha. I'm sure listening to you, many would have experienced that spark today. And Jai Kumar sir says, wow, nice to hear from you. May God bless you, Dr. Vajiravelu Jai Kumar. Usha ma'am says, old Usha, you put many youngsters to shame. I can say that, yes. And Kannan sir says, doctor, your experience in life has proved that positive thinking cures a problem faster, whereas a negative thought aggravates the same. And I totally agree with your views, 100%. Perumal says, doctor, salute to your willpower. Kripakar Anna says, it was a pleasure watching you run on tracks in Masters meet in Guntur, winning gold. Your hubby jumped in joy, and I was standing next to him, relishing the moment. That too, during the last lap, you stood to tie your lace and then forged ahead to touch the tape. Kudos to you. And I definitely want to say about Asha ma'am's better half. Yesterday, I had asked sir if he could also be a part of today's session, but he had something very important, innovation to do, especially for the dialysis patients. And I'm sure it's going to be a breakthrough. We are looking forward for that. And yesterday in that 5-10 minutes, I had a chat with sir. You can't believe he was pulling my leg throughout that 10 minutes and we were giggling to glory. So, I mean, I was just thinking about the camaraderie and the friendships I am making as I trail this path. Thank you so much to sir, especially because, we could spend some quality time yesterday. Usha ma'am says, Asha, the real firebrand. Love it. Anbu Meena, Dr. Anbu Meena says, very inspiring and motivating, ma'am. Thank you so much. Usha ma'am again says, never had the chance to be with you in Masters. Hope to see you soon there. Rukmani ma says, we can't have pity on you because we have to have pity on ourselves that we don't have this type of mindset like yours. Dr. Mini Madan says, absolute determination, grit and courage against all odds, ability to believe in yourself. Venkata Subramaniam says, comrades, essay to, I guess. Rukmani Ma says, you can do it. Definitely, God is with you and your dreams will come true. Our wishes and blessings with you. Absolutely. I think, when you sit and write your dreams and you keep visualizing and verbalizing your dreams, it definitely comes true. And we are going to call you again when your dream comes true that you've ran to Kanyakumari. Basically, I am also from, Kanyakumari district. I'm from Tirunelveli. So hopefully I also run along with you. If not so far, but at least somewhere there. So one second, ma'am. I'm just going to read some more. It's not done yet. There is so much, I guess, it's just getting flooded. And Usha ma'am says, for me, my terrace is my running route, I guess, because you said your corridor is your running route. Always been telling that, never give up on your me time. Dr. Vijaya Suresh says, you're the powerhouse, Asha ma'am. The body achieves what your mind believes. Big salute to you. Love that energetic words of yours. Usha ma'am says, super spirited Asha. Vidya Raghuram says, love you so much, Asha dear. Rukmani Ma says, your mindset is running with the speed of a cheetah. Body as good as a peacock and feet like a deer. Keep going forward. Also take us along with you. Vidya ma'am says, you're a real life hero, dear. Kripakar Anna says, I remember you discussing about your cadence during run and you have cadence above 180. Can you please share how to improve that, Asha ji? So that's a question for you, Asha ma'am.
Kripakar, hi. Actually, I don't know. When I started running itself, my cadence was so good. So many have asked me about this because it ranges between 180 to 200. And maybe, I feel maybe it's because my steps are very short or whatever it is, because they say my run is more like a shuffle, it just goes. And people who run behind me say we never see the foot touching the road. I did not do anything specifically for that. It just happens to be I have a good cadence. So I'm not able to tell you how to go about that, Kripakar. Sorry. I think I'm just a natural in that, that's all.
That is so nice to even see you running. As you rightly said, I've been watching that track run of yours. It was like how Rukmini ji said, it was a bird, on the trot. So nice, so effortless to see you running and then finishing it up. That too with a smile on your face all through. Excellent.
Lots more on your chat box, ma'am. I'm just going to read them out fast for you. Okay, I'm losing track because it's going up and above. So Nibedita Naik says, dear ma'am, you're a superwoman and a wonder lady. Johnson says, great, very inspiring. God bless you. Rukmani Ma says, he's simple and superb person who makes Asha smiling all the time. This is about sir. Sagarika Mishra says, you're an inspiration for me, ma'am, as I'm an amateur marathoner and keen to learn techniques. Nandita Murlidhar says, almost missed this. Great to see you, Asha. Don't worry, Nandita. We have a recording of this and I will share the link with Asha, ma'am, and she'll share it to all her well-wishers too. Vidya says, we all call her babies. So, Asha, ma'am, I never knew you were called babies too. So, okay. And awesome. I mean, this is like absolutely a fantastic. Now, before we end, I just want to do some screen sharing because I've got her presentation. So just hold on, friends. So Asha ma'am, you can speak on your slides. I'll just keep shifting them.
Yeah. You can just shift to the next one now, Vidya. So this was exactly what I was telling you, that, victory is sweetest when you know defeat. And very often, I know what it is to have been defeated so many times. And yet, when you overcome and you become victorious, it's fantastic feeling. Next, Vidya, we'll finish it fast. This is the person who you're saying who was, you look at my face there. I've given up almost on everything, and I said, yes. I'm going to be a diabetic, I'm going to be hypothyroid, I'm a cancer patient, and that's the look in my face. So I don't want all of you all to be like this ever again. Please, next. And although I was like this is what I wanted to be, you know, just enjoy myself, dance, laugh, you know, have a beautiful life that keeps going. But it never was, but it.
You are still, Asha. How can you say you're not?
Now, yes. Yes.
Exactly, Usha. Exactly, Usha. Yeah, I do agree.
So, this is what again I'm telling. I've got 99 problems, but I'm going running to ignore them all for 1 hour. That's why I said, give yourself that 1 hour, you know, because you just enjoy it. And this was how when my running days began, you know, the joy of running, as I always say. Next. When I broke my leg and I went on a tour, I'll never forget this, because this friend of mine, she didn't want to push me in the wheelchair. They literally pushed me into the rose bush area. And I said, I'm not sitting with you all anymore. I'm walking, I said. I was supposed to be in this marathon when I sat there actually watching them run, and I could not run, and I felt very sad. And my thoughts were, will I be able to run again like this? So that's why I said the mind will play a lot of games with you. Next. But one thing I've realized, we have a very good, greater awareness of ourselves. We have to understand our bodies, the function, and have a greater sense of self-ownership and respect. The most important thing is to have that sense of self-ownership and respect. Very often after a particular age, I'm noticing this, round about that 40, 45, we give up. You know, we don't realize that this is our body. We have to take care of it. We have to have that respect for our body. Unless we have that respect, no one else will respect you. So, and we have that awareness. Women have that awareness. Its only thing is pull it up again, you know, and bring it on. Next. So I always feel I'm the odd one, you know, and number one, always, yes. So I think every woman should feel that. Every one of us are, you know. Next. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Nothing can take away who I am.
Definitely not. Unless that spirit is there, no, you can never live.
Yes. So this was my Ooty run, and it was something which is this was in Manipur, you know, where me and Sundarambal, we were taking some photos with all this, trying to look like terrorists. So I said, yeah, wait, let me take one. So all the fun in it, you know. Next. So here you see Rukmani, Rhoda, and all of us together in Sarawak when we went for, when we represented India. We had a real good time. So that that camaraderie, you know, being together, enjoying ourselves, and having fun together. Other than that competitive spirit, forget about that.
Asha, I feel, you know, I go to masters to get motivated, to see all those people above 80 and 90 not bothering about the heat or cold or anything or the thing, but just they want to prove themselves that they are fit and healthy, and they want to run and prove themselves. That is what I love to take from the masters.
That's very true. That is very true. And the fun in it.
Yes, lot of fun in it.
Lot of fun. Of having been together like this. It was very nice. Next. I think that was the last slide, is it? Yeah. This is another thing which they said, I was always wondering how people take photos like this. So Sundaramal said, no, I'll tell you how to do it. And she made me jump. And I got this pic, perfect pic it was, you know. When I put it on Facebook, many people were thinking I was somewhere in the air jumping. Actually, nothing like that. It's just a photography of it. But I loved it. Jumping like this.
Amazing.
This was I run inside the house, the 21K,
Ah,
which I finished. So this is how all of us should remember.
very true.
Don't
Very true.
run
Very
to add days to our life. We run to add life to the days. Every day, our life should be that we have good fun. We enjoy ourselves. We live happily, you know, not because things are very fantastic or things are still going on as it is, but within you, you're fine. Okay, because we run for me. I do whatever I'm doing to keep myself fit for me. You know, that is what is most important. Thank you. So, even if you're in the dark, keep your face to the sunshine. Okay.
awesome. Really awesome.
So you saw Asha ma'am's presentation, you heard her. This is the time when I would encourage all of you to unmute and wish Asha ma'am for that wonderful session we had with her. I guess words fail to express our kind of gratitude we have for all our expert speakers, because each week they tell us that, you know, life is an experience. Challenges will come, challenges will go. Our life is to overcome those challenges and leave a positive footprint on this face of the earth so that others can trail along. And I guess many of us who have been a part of today's session would really accept and admit and know that, you know, we have still a long way to go. So I'd encourage all of you to unmute, and then you can come on screen, because I'm going to take a screenshot that I can see all of you together. So if you all can be there, I can take a lovely screenshot. Very good, very good. Okay, so you can go ahead, all of you, if you want to unmute yourself, and you can speak. Yes, Kannan sir, I can see your hand going up. Yes.
Your story is very inspiring. I
Thank
remember one incident. You had gone through so many physical problems, but in whatever problem, I used to have giddiness about 4 or 5 years back.
Okay.
Even with that small problem, I thought my career is over, running career. My only passion in life is running. So I thought I cannot run. I went to a doctor. He said, you have some vertigo or something. If you run, your neck will break. You will die. I said, I don't mind. Let me run and die.
Exactly.
But then I consulted Dr. Kumar Janardhan, you must be knowing.
Ah.
So he took me to a doctor in Sims, Vadapalani.
Ah.
There was a doctor who came from other country. Because number Chennai doctors la, some of them, what they say is, idu pannada, adu pannada,
Yes.
There are
First
very
thing
few of
they
them
say
who
is don't
encourage
run.
you.
First thing they say is don't run.
I asked the doctor is, can I run? Then I will come to you. He said, don't worry, come to me. He asked me to do few exercises. Said, go ahead and enjoy your life. That's the end. Adukapram the giddiness varla enakku.
Fantastic.
So it's a small one which depresses you. Whereas your experience is something unbelievable. Even with that, you have such positive attitude, really motivates us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Anybody else?
Nanda.
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, Purselvi, go ahead.
Yes,
Purselvi, ask Purselvi.
It's awesome, ma'am. Actually, I've come across such challenges. Really awesome. What the spirit you have. I don't know how to express in words. Really, it's very. I'm very inspired hearing your story and the challenges you faced. Really, it was great motivation for me to do more things.
Good. I'm very happy for Sylvie.
Thank you, ma'am.
Purselvi is also a very spirited person, Asha. She never gives up, you know. I know her for so many years now. She never gives up. Whatever we'll be running. I like that very much. that spirit in Purcellvi.
Very good.
May I say something?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, yes, Asha's attitude is fantastic. And I think that is the only way forward. When you're going through a bad time, you just focus on the positives, focus on what you can do and not what you can't do. And take
Yes.
one step at a time, one little moment at a time. And hats off to you, Asha, all the best.
Thank you, Nandita.
I've been through
Absolutely.
cancer
I
twice, yeah.
guess being a psychotherapist and a counselor, along with being a dentist, I have realized that, you need to have this positive mindset.
Perfect.
That in whatever you do, when you have that, I guess, it keeps you going. So absolutely true.
And only one word about you is your childlike attitude. That's the best part of it in your life.
Enthusiasm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like that, that's the best way to live your life fully. I believe in that.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
Vidya Raghuram.
All the best, Asha. It was a wonderful talk.
Thank
It was
you,
a wonderful
Kurian.
talk.
Thank you, Kurian.
Asha, hopefully we'll meet soon at the Masters. I've never been with you in the Masters.
I'm waiting for the masters to start. More
wait
than me,
another
my
2
husband
months.
is waiting.
Another 2-3 months.
Huh?
Government
We
has
have
not
more
given
number of
orders
friends.
to conduct any meet.
Ma'am?
Government has not given any permission to conduct any meet now. So we will do it
Oh.
after 2 months.
It will take some more time, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Till that
I
time, we'll
think
go on with Get In, Get
2022.
Fit.
Yes.
Yes.
So thank you so much, friends, for joining in. And it was, as always, absolutely fantastic Get In, Get Fit Expert Talk series. You'll be able to see the series tonight itself on YouTube. I'll be sending the link to Asha ma'am. And Asha ma'am, please spread it across to your friends who have missed it. Nandita, I've given you my number. So in case you want it, I can send it to you personally too. You'll get the entire recording on YouTube. And thank you so much, Asha ma'am, with lots of love and hugs and kisses to
Thank
you.
you so much.
And
Thank
we
you
are all
very much.
with you. We are all going to be your cheerleaders for all the masters here. We have always been a part of you right now. And it's lovely to see all of you. Thanks to Kripakar Anna for, giving me Asha ma'am's number, along with, you have a lot of people who are supporting you already, Asha ma'am, Rukmani ma, Usha ma'am, Kannan sir, all of them, they were like, bring Asha here, like that. That is how they were so happy. And Rhoda, especially right now, she's in US. She said she couldn't catch up because of the time lag, but we are going to send it to here too. So all of them are going to look at it, people who have not been able to make it right now. But all those positive words, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and wishing all of you happy Independence Day, the 75th Happy Independence Day. So I'm sure all of us are going to, step into a milestone tomorrow, and let's all be proud to be an Indian. So Jai Hind, and salute to all of you for joining in today.
Jai Hind. Thank you.
Jai Hind.
I would like to say thank you.
Bye, all of you. Thank
I'd
you
like
so
to say
much.
thank you to
Thank you,
Dr.
Asha ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.